I've been working in the call center industry for over a decade now. Over the years, I've heard countless horror stories from other agents, tales of hauntings and strange occurrences. But honestly, I never paid much attention to them. I've never been one to believe in the supernatural, and most of these accounts seemed too far-fetched to take seriously. I'd usually laugh them off or roll my eyes, thinking they were just exaggerated tales to pass the time. Our office, an old 5-story building, was surprisingly well maintained despite its age. The walls were pristine, the floors spotless, and every corner was brightly lit. It was far from the typical setting for ghost stories. Everything about it seemed clean, modern, and ordinary. That's probably why I dismissed all the eerie stories even more. After all, how could such a well-kept building be haunted? One day, my boss asked me to prepare a report for him. It was urgent and needed to be submitted the next day. I was excited because it was an opportunity to prove myself. There was a spot open for promotion. But it also meant staying a few extra hours to get everything done. As I was about to head home, I heard the sound of running footsteps in the hallway. Annoyed, I went to check where the noise was coming from. Turning the corner, I was shocked to see children running around. It struck me as strange because not only was it late, but it was also against company policy to bring kids to work. I quickly shrugged it off, assuming someone must have broken the rule. The next day, after submitting the report, my boss called me into his office. That didn't happen often. He said he was really impressed with how detailed and well done my work was. "This is exactly what we needed," he said, smiling. Hearing that made me feel great. Then, he handed me another report that needed to be done. He stressed that it was urgent and had to be submitted by Monday. That meant working overtime throughout the weekend. I wasn't thrilled about the idea, but saw it as another chance to show that I could handle important tasks. That evening, I stayed late to work on the report. Most people had already left, and the office was eerily quiet. After a few hours of working, I noticed the lights in the far corner of the office had turned off. I glanced around, expecting to see a coworker finishing their tasks, but the office was empty. Then I saw a chair move slightly. Chills ran down my body. I immediately went to check, but there was no one there. Still skeptical, I told myself I was just tired from working too long. "It's probably just rats," I muttered, trying to shake off the uneasiness. But deep down, I knew the chair was too heavy for rats to move. Monday came, and the usual chaos of the day filled the office. Agents busy taking calls and supervisors darting between stations. My boss called me in to discuss the new report, so I stepped away from my desk. As I was explaining the report to him in his office, I noticed someone standing behind him. At first, I didn't pay much attention, thinking it was just a coworker passing by. But as I finished my explanation, I looked again. The man standing there, he didn't have a head. I froze. My breath caught in my throat, and I couldn't speak. My heart pounded in my chest as panic set in. "This isn't real. This can't be real." My boss, confused, asked me what was wrong. Some colleagues rushed over to see if I was okay. I couldn't answer. I just pointed to where the headless figure stood. They all looked and said there was nothing there. When I glanced back, the figure was gone. But I was still shaking, my heart racing. The fear wouldn't leave me. They rushed me to the clinic to calm down. After that incident, I was never the same. I couldn't focus anymore. My mind kept replaying everything that had happened. The children running down the hallway, but that corridor ended in a dead end. The moving chair, too heavy for any logical explanation, and the headless man. It was all too much. I eventually resigned. Staying there, surrounded by memories of those events, was unbearable. Even now, I can't shake the feeling that something in that office wasn't right.